Onyx 1-2 Mike Oscar, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Welcome to the Calm Cockpit Podcast Monday Briefing. This is your short reset for pilot well-being and high performance, and to help you start your week off on the right foot. Sometimes what we need isn't more effort, but just clear reminders that help us stay steady, focused, and aligned with how we want to show up in the cockpit and our everyday lives. Each Monday brief covers one simple and practical idea you can apply immediately, something that supports your performance without adding any friction or extra work. I'm Geeta Brown, midlife student pilot and meditation and yoga educator with over 30 years of experience of teaching high performers how to improve their lives without adding stress. And I'm also a music educator. And along with my co-host, John Niehaus, who is a corporate pilot and flight instructor, we've been taking turns on these Monday briefings. And today, with my turn, I thought it was about high time to address how social media has lied to you about self-care, and how really no one is coming to save you. So someone said to John a while ago, so I've been listening to your podcast for a while, and it seems like you're the funny one, John, to which I would have to agree. And besides the fact that I'm a total super sciencey nerd, and I'm not really funny by nature, I'm really more of that like gracefully clumsy yogini vibe. But I told John, I kind of agree with that. Sometimes I listen to our show and I sound so strict and unfun and serious and like rigidly emphatic about like, you gotta meditate, you gotta get your sleep, you gotta get your workouts in, you gotta eat your nutritious food, you gotta try journaling, you gotta breathe. Like I find myself sounding almost like I'm finger wagging at you guys. And sometimes I worry about that it comes off like a little heavy-handed or too serious. Or even worse, like sometimes I worry that I sound like one of those wellness junkies who talks so much about wellness and holistic well-being that you can't even hear what she's saying anymore. But the truth is, I am so serious about self-care because I know that the stakes are high. The stakes of self-care are your life, your happiness, the ability for you to make your dreams and your happiness a reality. The stakes are your ability to fly safely, to enjoy flying, and to do so safely for as long as you want to. And this is not just something that is for you in your 20s and your 30s, but well into your elder years. Happiness is your birthright, but it doesn't happen naturally. It actually takes effort, planning, and work. And, John and I, we created this podcast, yes, to cover well-being, yes, to cover pilot performance, and yes, to get into some of those heavier topics that we're starting to address, like grief and substance abuse disorder. But we also like to have fun and like to balance that with being serious too. And I think I'm so serious about this and get so amped up about it because we're here to share the best that we have to offer from our own lives and from the experts we have on so that you can be a healthy and well pilot, which naturally, as a side effect, produces safe pilots who make good decisions and who have successful missions. Self-care is not a side project. It's not something to do once we're burned out. It's not something to do once you get sick to get healthy. It's not taking a random new vitamin supplement or the latest collagen coffee creamer. Self-care is the first step and the key to everything you want in your life. It's really cliche, but in the self-care world, we talk a lot about you have to put on your own oxygen mask first before assisting others, just like they do in the aviation breathing. But this is really true. It's cliche because it's true. And what's that thing? It's also common sense, but common sense is not always so common. So in my 30 years of experience of teaching what I call the greatest hits of self-care and stress reduction, I'd say that less than 20% of the people who I encounter actually do the work of incorporating self-care into their lives. And ask yourself for a moment, where do I fit on this scale? Now, you're a listener of the show, so maybe I'm preaching to the choir, but I don't know about you. I feel like I can always make a little bump up in self-care. Because to be good at what we do, sometimes we need to get a little serious with ourselves, and we need to treat ourselves like we would a child, because no one is coming to save you. You have to do it for yourself. Self-care is the foundation for your life. If you want to do better at any aspect of flying, or be a better husband, or have more career success, self-care is actually the place to start. And here's why. As I said, those stakes are high. If we don't actively strategize and prioritize self-care, it will 100% eventually have profound negative impacts on your health, your relationships, your career. It will limit your capacity to serve, and it will limit the capacity for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Most people that I teach don't wake up to the importance of self-care until they are pretty seriously burnt out, or they're struggling with maybe drinking a little more than they would want to, or overeating a little more than they want to as like a stress coping strategy, or they are facing a divorce, or starting to slide towards depression, or they even become hospitalized due to chronic illnesses. And even then, I have seen people at the top of their career, PhD educated professionals, who go right back to eating fast food twice a day and avoiding exercise after a major hospitalization for a chronic disease that was likely entirely preventable. So this is where I start to hear objections from people saying things like, I don't have time for all this, or self-care is too woo, it's too woo. Or it's, for those people who are clothed in hemp and wearing large crystals and like toting an enormous water bottle covered in inspirational stickers. But that is where you have been lied to, my dearest listener. This is where the billion-dollar wellness industry has taken a vital and necessary function of our lives and turned it into a marketing scheme. This vital and necessary function of our lives is to take personal responsibility for our well-being and health. Instead, they've taken that wellness and self-care and packaged it as like a yoga retreat in Costa Rica, or a mushroom latte that will boost your cognition, or the latest nutrient craze, be it protein, or be it collagen, or be it whatever. This is marketing run amok that has led you to believe that the whole field of self-care and wellness is garbage, when in reality, the marketing and packaging of a biological and social responsibility to adequately take care of ourselves is the most important thing. It's not a marketing scheme to sell stuff. So the truth is actually really simple about self-care. If you are fully a functioning adult, here's one thing I want you to take away from today's Monday briefing. No one is coming to save you. You have to take care of yourself. Self-care is the first thing on your to-do list and the only non-negotiable on your to-do list. But in order to do that, we got to break down a little bit about what is it. We're going to talk about what it is, why to do it, how to do it right here. So what is self-care? Self-care is your body, your brain, and your emotions as a system that require care and maintenance. And the older you are, speaking as someone north of 50, the more maintenance you perhaps require. Self-care is a routine that you do on a daily basis to help your body, mind, and emotions to function optimally. Very simply, it is a daily routine that you do, not a one-off massage or an occasional mani-pedi or a bubble bath. It is a routine that you do on a regular basis to help your body, mind, emotions, and if you like, your spirit to function optimally. And here's the really cool thing is when we develop these routines, is that when we care about something, we maintain it. Think of that vintage car or that vintage airplane. We care for it. Or the toddler in our care. We care for it, so we maintain it. And here's the deal is how well you care for yourself is directly correlated to how well you care for others and how well you care for your responsibilities. This is one of the biggest stumbling blocks I see for both myself and others. We say, I don't have time for self-care because my job is too busy. I don't have time for self-care because I have 3 kids and I have to care for them. I don't have time for self-care because I'm finishing this school project. And once that's over, then I can take care of myself. But the truth is, if you are not caring for yourself first, you are not capable of caring for your responsibilities or for other people to your fullest capacity. You are giving your projects, your responsibilities less than they all deserve. And yeah, it comes at a cost, because if we do this long enough, the effects of chronic stress are life-limiting. They damage our relationships. And you might finish the project, but you might find that your relationships are not nearly as stable as you would hope. So this routine that you do on a regular basis to help your body, mind, emotions to function optimally are very, very simple things that we talk about all the time in the Calm Cockpit. We're talking about physical movement that help increase blood flow, help mitochondrial function, that help increase oxygenation to the tissues, that help promote healing at a cellular level. We're talking about routines that we do on a regular basis for our emotional life, spiritual connections, talking with friends, hobbies that we find interesting. We're talking self-care routines about your nervous system, learning how to manage stress in healthy ways that don't involve overeating, reliance on alcohol, or other less than helpful behaviors. Things like meditation, guided relaxation, playing a musical instrument, getting adequate rest. Again, self-care is survival. Your body keeps the score, so we need to have daily routines that help us to show up at the best. What does it look like? It looks like sleeping 7 to 9 hours every night. And if you can't sleep, then getting adequate rest for those 7 or 9 hours, just resting. It looks like eating regularly and with intention and forethought, taking responsibility to, as much as possible, eat foods that come out of the ground or walk on the ground that nourish us. We're talking about things like hydration, making sure that we have adequate electrolytes in the system so that that water is taken up by ourselves. Self-care is daily movement, taking walks, taking the stairs, lifting weights, doing some fun, I know people who do ballroom dancing. Self-care looks like nervous system regulation, the ability to have the bandwidth during an emergency to stay focused and alert without tipping over into a helmet fire. It's the ability to shake off stress after a long day of work. When you train yourself to be able to regulate your own nervous system through meditation, guided relaxation, yoga nidra, you learn how to have a new baseline for well-being in your life that trickles into automatic improved performance no matter what you're doing. And relationships, being with people that support and care for you. Getting away from people or setting boundaries with people who do not have your best interest at heart is an incredible aspect of self-care. Being at a job or in a family system where you are treated poorly puts you into survival mode, and this chronic stress will show up in your health and your longevity and your ability to focus under pressure. Being around people who see you and support you does the opposite. We get positive health outcomes, we get positive measures in longevity, and we get increased performance and cognitive bandwidth. So self-care is routines that you do daily. How to do it? Dearest listener, just start small. Pick one thing that you can do consistently. You don't need to burn down your life and start a huge new routine or make this into a massive project. That's another stumbling block I see. People try to do everything all at once. Do simple little things daily. And within a few years, you will be amazed at the self-care routines you have established. Simple things like slowing down at night, paying attention to where your life feels aligned and good, and just expanding on that time in those spaces or with those people. Doing 1 minute of breath work in the morning. Doing a 5-minute meditation before going home, maybe even sitting in the car before you start it. Taking the stairs at work. Your achieving self will say it's not enough, but that is a lie. Brushing your teeth twice a day builds a healthy mouth, and we know this. It's a routine. And in the same way, a small routine of healthcare builds a healthy life. Start small and with something that feels good and enjoyable. And once that 1 to 5 minute habit becomes so weird, once that 1 to 5 minute habit becomes so routine that it feels weird if you don't do it, add something else that feels good. This is why I am so serious about self-care. And this is why I think social media has lied to you about self-care. It's not all of the bells and whistles. It's the small daily routines we do to take care of ourselves. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. It is up to you. To wrap up this Monday briefing, I will say self-care is a consistent and healthy routine of practices that care for your body and mind. Your self-care is your responsibility. It deserves presence on your to-do list, just like every other task. And it is the foundation of success, longevity, joy, service, good judgment, safe flights, and happy, well-produced missions. So let me know what you're going to do. Drop me a message at calmcockpit@gmail.com. I would love to hear what little thing you're going to sprinkle into your day. It encourages me to continue in my path. For me, I've started saying that every night before I go up to bed, I'm going to take the dog out and we're going to walk up and around the barn and back in again. It adds another 2 minutes of walking into my day, and it just kind of wipes away the evening and makes my dog happy, makes me happy, and it takes 2 minutes. So that's my thing for the summer that I'm adding in. Let me know what you're going to do. Drop me that email at calmcockpit@gmail.com. I know my Doberman will be very happy that I'm giving him another short walk too. He loves to do that perimeter check in the evening. So guys, no one is coming to save us. We got to start today. Let's do it together. Self-care is not a side project. It is your foundation. So go out there and get your week. Take good care of yourself. And as I wrap up today's Monday briefing, until our next episode, I will always say this to you: fly smarter and stress less. Thanks for listening, friends. Until next time, bye-bye.